Roasting vegetables is an easy, hands-off method to deepen flavor. Today, I'm going to show you a really simple recipe with a glazed Brussels sprout. You're going to love it. The last time I did a Brussels sprout recipe on the channel, I had a bunch of people send me messages that pretty much said the same thing. The only way I can eat these is if I choke it down with a little bit of bacon, a little bit of onion, lots of fat. And don't get me wrong, that's a great way to cook Brussels sprouts, and I do that from time to time. But you can roast Brussels sprouts in the oven and create a glaze for them that really changes the flavor profile of those Brussels sprouts, takes away all that bitterness, and really turns out an awesome product. And a lot of the things I'm going to show you today you can use for other vegetables. So you don't just have to use Brussels sprouts, you can use any vegetable that you like. And you can glaze a lot of different vegetables with different types of glaze. So I'm going to show you how to roast Brussels sprouts today, and I'll talk a little bit about how to roast other vegetables, but I'm sure you're going to love this.
I start by cleaning out the sprouts. Any vegetable that you roast, you're probably going to have to peel or clean in some way. It's also important to remember to get all your vegetables cut to about the same size. Cutting them to the same size allows you to cook them evenly, and they're all done at the same time. So I cut these in half, and I might even leave very small ones whole. If you're using a vegetable that's larger on one end, like a carrot, you may leave one whole side whole, and then slice the other side in half. It doesn't have to be perfect, but eyeballing these to be close is going to help with cooking them properly. Now, with sprouts, I cut off the end just a touch. If I were eating these raw, I would remove a lot more of the end, but it's going to cook and be tender, so I'm just removing any of the discolored areas. Next, I cut them in half, and some of the leaves fall off, and I normally discard them. If the leaves are discolored, I will maybe make another cut to make sure they all come off. I throw these in a bowl and give it a toss with some olive oil, enough to coat, some pepper, some salt. You can use other oil. I keep olive oil on hand for things like this, and I like the flavor. I give these a toss, and I pour them onto a lined sheet pan. Now, make sure not to crowd the pan. If you crowd the pan and put too many on it, you're going to wind up steaming these instead of roasting them, and you won't get as much color. These go into a 375-degree convection oven, which is 400 degrees still oven. Now, depending on the vegetables and how long it takes to roast, you may decide to up the temperature to get more color. And as you roast more vegetables, you're going to get better at choosing the temperature that you're going to need to use. Now, I cook these for about 20 to 30 minutes before I pull them out and glaze them. Next, I'll ready the glaze, which is just a honey and vinegar. I use balsamic vinegar, but you can use a lighter one like apple cider if you like. I try to keep it around a 3-to-1 ratio. So if I added 3 tablespoons of vinegar, I'll add about 1 tablespoon of honey. You want to have a consistency of a light sauce, and make sure to taste it to see if it feels too sweet or too sour, and then just adjust. You're looking for a balance of flavors. Now I'm using roasted salted peanuts for a topping here, and I want to crush them a bit or cut them a bit. You can throw these in a food processor if you like. I'm just going to use the back of a clean pan to crush them on the cutting board. You get some really good leverage with a pan, and you can smash these pretty well, and they wind up not uniform, and I kind of like that. After 25 minutes, my sprouts are starting to brown, and I'm using the same bowl I tossed them in. I just put them back in that bowl and pour in enough glaze to coat, toss them, and then throw them back on that same tray and put them in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. When they're done, I put them back in a bowl and toss about 2 to 3 tablespoons of peanuts in there, just to make sure there's peanuts in every bite. Now, I can either serve it in this large bowl and just cover the top with peanuts, or I can plate it individually, put some in the bowl, and then throw some peanuts on top. I love this combination of flavors. It feels reminiscently Asian. It's got peanuts in it, which add a lot of richness, and then there's a sweet and sour glaze. Adding another extra crunch to vegetables that have already been roasted, that are much less crunchy now, is a great way to serve it, so consider doing that. And I think you're going to love these, so give these a try, even if you hate Brussels sprouts.
All right, so that's it for today's Season Liberally. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, subscribe. I know I say it all the time, but genuinely, a thumbs up or a subscribe really can help this video wind up in other people's feeds. So I implore you, please help the channel as much as possible. Come back next time for a new episode, and until then, season liberally.